last year with the Eagles, but now he's headed to the bench. Poor Acho. Over in Dallas, Dak Prescott was playing under the franchise tag, but had a season-ending injury back in October. Despite what's going on in Philly, Cowboys executive Stephen Jones said the Eagles situation doesn't affect their thoughts on Dak. He said, quote, "We're not nervous to sign Dak. I think his makeup is all the right things. He's an amazing man off the field. He's a great leader in our locker room, a great player, and that's why we've wanted to sign him long-term." Bucky is back with us, but Acho, are you buying the Cowboys aren't nervous about signing Dak to a big deal?
Big deal.
Fellas, you ever remember how you're supposed to give somebody criticism, right? You're supposed to start with something nice, then in the middle, you speak the truth, tell them what you really want to sell them, and then you end with something nice as well. Like, that's how you're supposed to deliver a rough message. That's the rule of thumb. See, Stephen Jones gave us the inverse. He started with the lie, then he gave us the truth, then he ended with the lie. We're not nervous to sign Dak. Stop lying, Stephen Jones. Marcellus and Bucky, the Cowboys are definitely nervous to sign Dak Prescott. I'll give you 3 reasons why. The first reason, he's coming off of an injury. Regardless of how young he is, regardless of how non-injury prone he is, regardless of how strong and tough he is, you're coming off an injury. That in and of itself is rooms for being nervous. Second reason, within your own division, you've seen a quarterback same age as Dak Prescott, show just as much, if not more promise than Dak Prescott on the cusp of winning an MVP 2-3 years ago, that is Carson Wentz, and now fall off a cliff and become benched. That's the second reason. The third reason is you know firsthand, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, all the players that y'all pay, they forget how to play. You saw it with DeMarcus Lawrence. You saw it with Zeke. I'll remind y'all, world, if we got the full screens, as soon as the Cowboys players get paid, they instantly stop performing. DeMarcus Lawrence, he had given you what, 30, 15, 25-odd sacks in his first couple performances in his first 2 years. Then he gets paid. All of a sudden, after getting paid, you see 5 sacks, then you see 4.5 this year. Then you got Zeke. I really don't even got to show y'all, because if y'all got eyes, y'all been watching it. But Zeke leads the NFL in rushing. And then he falls off and falls off and falls off as soon as he gets paid. So that's the third reason they're nervous. They've seen Carson Wentz be a baller, fall off. They don't want to pay another player and have them fall off. And he's coming off an injury. Have we really seen Carson Wentz as a baller? Good reasons to be nervous.
Have we really?
Woo! You talking about lies. You just told a big lie.
Go get him.
I know why.
Go get
a
him,
body
Marcellus.
language expert would tell me that you were lying the entire time.
Go get him.
As soon as I asked you the question, you know the first thing you did? You went like this, start moving like here. I was like, what's wrong with Acho? And then the lies started to come out of your mouth. You're crazy, Acho. Yes, of course Dak Prescott deserves the big deal. And they're not nervous about giving it to him. They've already offered him a $35 million
Stop telling me you crazy in your head, dog.
The only issue is they want to be more committed to him than he wants to commit to them. And Acho's going to try and misconstrue that as, oh, they're nervous. No, they're only nervous because Dak's trying to get a 4-year deal and get out of there and reset his value, where they're like, no, we want to lock you in to 5 years because we know how much we love you. If you can't take them on their words and you can't take them on their actions, then what can you take them on? Acho, you keep bringing up points that makes no sense because Stephen Jones went out there and already told you, our issues are in our negotiations with Dak, wanting to be more committed in terms of the length. That's simple as that. It's not about the length of the contract to Dak as much as it is about the actual amount and length to Dak. Those two things cannot be separated. Please stop trying to do that. That's a misconstruing of this situation. So I look at Dak, who is oh my God, 10th most passing yards in NFL history through his first 69 games.
What?
And he's 7th in career passing rating. And you're trying to tell me that this is not a guy that's justified the amount of money that they've already offered him? That is more than any of us even anticipated, and the price tag continues to go up. They're not nervous about signing Dak.
There's nothing to be nervous about. I think, if anything, they're more confident now that they've seen their team completely implode now that he has been out of the lineup. This year, Dak Prescott leads the league in 400-yard games, and he only played 5 games. He still has the most 400-yard games in the league, and he hasn't
Preach
played
it.
in almost 2 months.
Preach
and then
it.
when I look at this team, by every metric, he has proven to the Cowboys that he is the right guy for the
Preach it.
job. When they wanted him to play like a game manager, those first 3 years, he logged on and got 32 wins. When they've asked him to do more, hey, what about your individual statistics? Last year, he went for 4,900 yards. This year, he was on pace for more than 6,000 passing yards. I think it's really clear and apparent. Dak Prescott is the right guy. He's the right guy for them. They miss him. We saw this team that was hanging by a thread early in the year completely fall apart. I think now more than ever, they realize that number 4 is the right guy to be the face of the franchise going forward.
Can we get a 3 box, please? I'd love to talk to these lovely elder statesmen and congruence.
Okay.
Bucky, remind me, sir, where did you go to college, please?
University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Okay, UNC. Okay, so then I'll defer again to Marcellus as far as educational questions.
Come on, Texas doesn't even stack up.
Marcellus, when Dak Prescott started and finished games, the Cowboys were 1-3. So if they were 1-3 over the first 4 games with Dak Prescott as a starter, if you were to take that out for 16 games, what would the Cowboys' record have been?
Come on, Marcellus.
I ain't know.
4 wins.
No, I know the answer. I know the answer.
Yeah, we know.
It would be 4-12.
Okay.
If Dak Prescott were to stay healthy, they were on pace to go 4-12.
On pace.
The Cowboys, what are they now? 3-9. Okay. So it looks like they're on pace to go 4-12. That's weird. It's so weird. So if Dak Prescott was going to stay healthy, they were on pace to go 4-12. And without Dak Prescott, they're still going to go 4-2. That's crazy to me. Let me get to my point, fellas. The other reason the Cowboys are nervous is because Bucky Brooks, you don't just do something to do something. Let me tell you, Marcellus, the only reason I wish I grew up in your generation at times was because things were a little more and people were a little more trustworthy. Right? In this day and age, sometimes people want to get married just to say they get married. They want to get married because they just want to check the box. You know, I got my job.
Hold up. I don't know who oddly relatable TV. Your TV's broken. You have one of those 1950s TVs that's black and white, you know, with the big picture tube? Because you stupid as hell if you're going to say that Dink did nothing but Dink and Dak. You stupid. I'm sick and tired of freaking idiots. Dude. Do you know that the NFL record for yards in a season was 5,480-some yards? Dak Prescott was on pace for 6,600 yards, son. 6,600 yards. How the hell is that dinking and dunking? You want dinking and dunking? Go look at Carson Wentz, because that dude is a dinking and dunker, okay? Forgive me for losing my religion. Ladies, forgive me, ladies. Style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in. Okay, forgive me, ladies. Let's go back to your regularly scheduled program.
I bought my house. I guess now it's time to check that marriage box to say I did it. Well, in the NFL, you don't buy or pay a franchise quarterback franchise long-term money just to say you did it. Jerry Jones doesn't just want to say, well, we got a franchise quarterback too. We're keeping up with you, Patrick Mahomes. No. You pay a franchise quarterback and you sign a franchise quarterback without any doubt in your mind with the goal of winning a championship, a Super Bowl, maybe an NFC championship at the minimum. That is why you do it, not just to say you did it. So if you're the Cowboys and you realize, man, even with Dak Prescott, as great as he is, we were going to go 4-12. Without him, we're about to go 4-12. Even with Dak Prescott, as great as he was last year, no injury, we went 8-8, missed the playoffs. Without him, we're still not about to make the playoffs. Okay, but it was Jason Garrett's fault. Well, no, because the team Jason Garrett went to, they're about to make a playoffs with their backup quarterback. So even with Dak Prescott, as good as he is, we're now going to pay him long-term money just to do what? Now, it's no slight on Dak Prescott. We just have to be honest with the fact that you have to be nervous to sign Dak Prescott.
I almost want to.
That's it.
Get him, Buck.
Okay. We have to be nervous to sign Dak Prescott. I find that funny, right? Because I didn't hear you express worry or concern about Deshaun Watson getting paid, but here we are. Deshaun Watson is leading a poor football team, but he's playing at a high level. much like Dak Prescott was playing at a high level. Deshaun Watson had his led his team
shots
to
fired.
a
Shots
championship
fired.
game, nor a Super Bowl, but he got his money, which is up there, not quite at Pat Mahomes' level, but close. And when I look at the numbers that Deshaun Watson had put up, his numbers are comparable to what Dak Prescott has put up. And I would even argue that Dak Prescott has been more impressive from a production standpoint. So I don't really know, because every time we play this football scrimmage, you tend to move the goalpost. And I can't determine, is it
God.
wins? Is it numbers? I just want to know, what am I evaluating the quarterback off of? Because when I look at my quarterback having to play with the historically one of the worst defenses that we have ever seen tried out there, I just don't know how you can play both sides. Do you want to play both ways? I don't know what you want Dak Prescott.
Sit your ass down, Acho. Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. Let me wake up these football guys, and let's get open for business here tonight. You know what? I am tired. I am sick and tired because, friends, I say it again, my friends. We've been had. We have been flim-flammed. We have been bamboozled, led astray, and run amok by one Jerry Jones. You know, I love my Dallas Cowboys. I truly do love my Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to have Skywalker Steele will be calling in a couple of minutes. Skywalker Steele will be joining us tonight because I want to figure out how we fix this Dallas Cowboys team. Because you know what? Here's what's crazy. If you read this right here from our fearless leader, Jerry Jones. Alan Williams with that super chat, man. Thank you for that cash money. Stello 300. Thank you for that. All right. When you work for yourself, this is Jerry Jones, and he does this in the third person. Okay? When you work, when you work for yourself, there's no firing him. You got to change him. He's got to change the direction he's going. I've worked all my life for myself, but I've had to change direction many times. So I will change. I can change. What? Really? Really, Jerry? You expect us to believe that? How many times have you said that if you had a GM that had the record of you having, that you would go ahead and fire that guy? But yet you're still there. And here it is, 25 years of failure. And see, what we seem to have here is a...
Don't you ever talk that way to me.
Mm-hmm.
Never! What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach.
That's Jerry Jones. You know, I'm trying to understand. I'm hoping, I'm praying that this week was the week that he finally woke up. But see, ladies, Stello, what's up, Stello? Thank you again very much for that super chat, man. We got all the ladies in here with the...
To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in...
Ladies, let me ask you something here. Ladies, okay? When you have that guy who's always messing up, he's always messing up, and every time he messes up, what does he do? Ladies, what does he do? Baby, you know that's not like me. That's not like me, baby. That's not the way I do it. You know I don't go like that, baby. You know I'm going to change. Forget me. Look, I got to change, baby. I will change. You know I'm changing. You lady, am I wrong, ladies? Am I wrong, ladies? I know you've heard, and what do you do when you get that guy? Get your mother humping ass out. Just get out, right? Right? Uh-oh. Do y'all see what we have up in here?
It's me. It's me. Skywalker Steele. What's up, man?
Do you hear that?
I can't hear that, bro.
You still don't hear that?
Yeah, last time you tried to do that.
I tried it on it's on a different computer. But they can hear it. They can hear Darth Vader out here. All right, I'm kind of angry tonight, okay? I might need my giant Snickers bar here. For those of you who don't know who this is one of those young guns. At least he's got that baby face, okay? In fact, I ought to call you baby face. Because, see, black don't crack. And, oh, yeah, here we go. See, I'm hangry tonight, okay? I got my Snickers, but I don't know that this is big enough of a Snickers because I'm hangry about the Cowboys because I feel like Jerry Jones is peeing on my head and telling me it's raining. And saying it's raining. Because I know Skywalker, like I said, I want to figure out how do we fix this thing? This thing is just a straight up mess. I mean, straight up.
How long we got? It's not a quick fix.
I can go all night. Okay?
No, it's not a quick fix, and maybe this is something that we'll do future episodes on, right? We'll break it all the way down, but where do you start? I mean, where do you usually start when things are breaking down in a company? At the top. Start at the top.
Well,
the problem is, Mark, we know the top's not going to change. We know the top's not going to change, so we need the foot soldiers below them.
But he told us he was going to change today.
Mark, let me ask you something.
He said he was going to change.
Mark, do you know an 80-year-old man? Do you know an 80-year-old man that's going to change?
I'll let you know in 25 years.
Okay.
I'll let you know in 25 years, dog.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, man. It starts from the top, but here's my theory, because I've been saying this for a long time, guys. When you take this job as a Dallas Cowboys head coach, you take it knowing that you have to deal with what you have to deal with above you. So as a fan, I'm expecting you to come in here and get shit done regardless of that. I know it's tough that you have to deal with Jerry, but I'm expecting you to know you have to come in here and deal with that crap. So if Mike McCarthy can't get it done over the next few years, we're going to have to make
wait, hold up, dog. We actually talking about a few years here? We actually talking about giving him a few years?
You have to, don't you? Listen.
Okay. No. I'll give you my take on this right here, because I see you're younger and all that. See, you got time. Okay, you got time. I'm 55. Okay, I have seen the Dallas. I've been around for every Super Bowl out there. Okay, I don't remember all of them, but I remember all the Cowboy ones. I don't have time for a bad time.
I don't have time to have a bad time. It isn't on my schedule.
We wasted 10 years. We wasted, great players from DeMarcus Ware to, of course, Tony Romo and Des Bryant and Jason Witten and things. All those years because we waited too long to let go of Jason Garrett. We should have let him go after 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. After we literally faced everybody in our division in a win and get in game and lost every single one of them. And when we did get to the playoffs, we didn't have any success. So I'm sitting here, and I get that we got the pandemic that's going on, and, we didn't have training camp and stuff. But I'm looking at effort of players. I get it when you have a guy who, I've got a receiver that runs a 4.4, and my cornerback only runs a 4.9. I understand he's going to get blown away. That is just a lack of talent. But I see a lack of effort. I see a lack of knowledge. I see guys that are literally clueless.
So so that actually, believe it or not, Mark and chat, that starts at the top. We had Lucky Whitehead on the Late Night Hype last week, and he had talked about how when he, a little bit, he talked about how when he was at practice early in his years.
Hold
Jerry
on, we talking about practice?
Talking about practice.
Okay.
Jerry would come down with his helicopter, and everybody would stop and look up and just be awestruck, right? To just like, oh my God, Jerry Jones is flying a helicopter on practice, and everything has to stop like he's the president. That's setting a culture. That's the culture in Dallas. It starts at the top. If Jerry Jones can come in and fly in his helicopter and things like that, and be showboatman and things like that, what make you think Swiper no swipe me is not gonna, do his little Mr. Feed me is not gonna do it. Mr. Hey, look at me, pay me the money, he's not gonna do it. That's all part of the Cowboys culture. So what you need, if you're going to change McCarthy, right? If you're going to change McCarthy, don't just change him and bring in another regular guy. Bring in a guy that's not going to be scared to get cussed out by Jerry Jones. Because the 2 times we've had culture changes, it was 2 guys that didn't deal with Jerry's shit.
Yeah.
Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. If you want culture change, you need that.
Okay. Mr. Dallas Cowboy from Right, thank you for that. I get that. I get that, Skywalker. I get that, but do you feel like Xavier Woods is actually out there playing like an NFL safety?
No.
Okay. And has he played better than he's played this year? Do you think that this is a scheme? I mean, this is a guy who is dumb enough to put out there that, you don't always give full effort. Now, is that on Jerry Jones? Or is that on the player, between the player and the coach?
Yeah, I'm not going to put that on Jerry. First of all, you played football for forever, right?
Yeah.
Would you ever come out and say that, number one, as a person?
Dude, see, I come from a different guild.
Well, okay,
saying. Listen, man. No, we didn't loaf it in practice. Okay, I went to JMU. Okay, I'm a JMU Duke, and I played, back in the days with Charles Haley. And Charles Haley, I don't care what, it could be a walkthrough. You better have your chin strap back buckled up. We hit, and it was full go all the time. I don't understand this stuff because, see, you know what drove me crazy? I'm trying to remember the play, but they were close down to the goal line there. We got a good stop. And Jalen Smith is just standing around. The guy, I can't remember who. I need to go back to the film. But we get a stop. The guy's engaging him, working him out bounds. And here it is. Jalen Smith is just kind of like there. He's just waiting for him to finish the tackle. And then he taps him on the head. Yeah, great tackle. It's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you in there trying to knock the damn ball out? It's still a live play. You put your hand on the football and knock it out of there and get a turnover. I keep seeing all these guys that are standing around as one-person tackles or tries to tackle. I see bad angles. I see fundamentals that are like, dude, you should be doing this stuff since, ankle biters. You don't know pursuit angles? I'm seeing you guys taking banana roots to try and tackle guys. I've seen Jalen Smith literally when Lamar Jackson went up the middle, Jalen Smith has just literally took 3 steps and just kind of jogged the rest of the way. Fuck it, I'm done. You don't ever give up. He may be coming back across, trying to make a cutback, and cuts back into you. I don't see any signs of effort. We can talk about having players that are injured. You can look on the offense and say, yeah, of the 53 guys, the 10 offensive line we had, 7 of them have been on injured reserve. I can say, yeah, my offense stinks. The defense hasn't had quite that many injuries, so to speak, as the offense. I just see trash all the way around. So is it the scheme? Is it the players? Is it, like you say, the owner?
Well, it's definitely a combination of the scheme and the players. But the scheme is just bad, man. Listen, Mike Nolan has to go. I think that is the easiest decision that this front office can make in the offseason is to fire Mike. No, that should be easy. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. And Jeff Kavanaugh, our guy Jeff, he made a great point that I kind of was talking about in the offseason in regards to this is just a good old boy buddy system all over again, man. And what I mean by that is Jason used to bring in his buddies, his guy, Scott Linehan, right? He's the one that helped him become a coach first, right?
My guy, probably.
Bring in Scott. And then who follows Scott? Kellen Moore, who Scott Linehan drafted and played for, and then brought in as offensive coordinator. Good old buddy system. I thought when they brought in Mike McCarthy, we'd be done with it. Well, it's the exact opposite.
It may be even worse.
He brought in his buddy, and his buddy hasn't been a good defensive coordinator in 2 decades. His resume is not why he's here.
Yeah.
So this should be an easy, quick fix if Mike McCarthy can get rid of the buddy system. But I'm worried, Mark. I'm afraid. I don't know, chat. You tell me. Do you think Mike McCarthy is going to get rid of his buddy Mike Nolan?
I think he's going to have to. Let me recognize everybody. You know, I apologize because I've got my man Skywalker in here. I'm all worked up and stuff. I'm not ignoring you. I'm reading all the chats and stuff, and I want to make sure that I take care of my ladies, you know, for all the ladies in the place with the style and grace.
All my ladies in the place with the style and grace. Hey.
Yeah, biggest smalls up here. So you know I love you, ladies. So I appreciate everybody being here. But we are trying to get into the meat of everything that is with the Dallas Cowboys. Do I think that Mike McCarthy will fight? I think he's going to have to. Up, Gina. What's up, Gina? He's got to, because I personally think this is what happened this week. Okay, because we can go. Spook, can you saving?
Spot, can you
Is there a call in line? We're not taking it. We're going to be doing that in the future here, okay? We will definitely be doing, but I appreciate that super chat, man. Thank you for that. Thank you for that cash money. Here's the thing that I think happened. You think about Thanksgiving, we had over 30 million people watch the Cowboys get their lunch handed to them, right? Big numbers, you know. You hear about the Dallas Cowboys, of course, during the pandemic. We got the highest amount of fans in the stands. Jerry Jones is like, yeah, man, I got a team that's shit. That's garbage. And I'm still having more fans than anybody else in the NFL. I am still having the highest rated game in the NFL right here. Doesn't matter what I put out here. I am good. You know, look at me. Look at me. Aren't you entertained? Until this week. This week they said, you know what, Jerry? Sit your ass down. We don't want your shit on Sunday night. We don't want you in prime time. We're going to put you at 1 o'clock, right?
Did you see him spin that?
Oh, he tried. I didn't see that, but what did he do?
He tried to spin the act like, well, guys, you know that we're going to start seeing more of this around the league, and just got to get the best kind of games. And nah, you know you was hurt. You was hurt, Jerry. That hurt your pockets. Get out of here, Jerry.
But okay. Now, that hurt him to his soul, because not only did he get put to a 1 o'clock game, to have the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants replace. I'm sorry. That's literally, they cut his nuts off. Excuse me, ladies. I'm sorry about that. But seriously. No, but I'm sorry. They took his manhood away from him. You took the one thing that, wait a minute. What? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock? In the Giants? Where Jason Garrett? Hey, think about it. Jason Garrett goes to New York. He is going on your spot. And I'm telling you that I wish I could have been a fly on the wall, you know, there at the Star. Because I guarantee you he's going off. Because, see, here's what I think happened this week. So you hear Jerry Jones saying, you know, well, I got to change. Because, you know, all of a sudden this shit's slipping away. He talked about that today, right? You hear about, you know, Mike McCarthy now all of a sudden. You heard about him going after the players, talking about effort and everything else. I think a fire got lit underneath everybody this week, because now the players are all talking about, you know, I got to play better. You heard Zeke Elliott say that. You heard Jalen Smith. All of a sudden everybody, you know, is talking a little bit differently. Now, talk is cheap. I don't know that it's going to affect anything on the field at this point, but I'm wondering, why the hell didn't we do this shit like 8 weeks ago?
There was a couple moves that we should have did long time ago if we were really trying to win. That I don't understand. How Darian Thompson, why was he the starter for so long? Terrence Steele, why was he the starter?
Dontari Poe.
Dontari Poe, right? Excuse me. Everson Griffin, Worley. First of all, we just flat out missed in free agency, but we'll get to that later. I got some theories on that. But yeah, there's a lot of things I thought after about week 3, you can see, okay, this isn't going to work. Let's shake it up a little bit. Do you think that was a bit of a pride thing from the coaches that they kept sticking with these people?
I don't know what it was, because to me, you know, I don't care who you have, the bottom line is I need to win. I understand you paid a guy a lot of money, but see, here's the thing. Too many times in the culture, and I go back to what you were saying about the culture of the Cowboys. When you think about Jerry Jones and how he treats guys and stuff, we seem like we used to have and I don't mean to throw shade at Dez, but we had guys that, I'm a starter. I ain't got to practice. I ain't got to,
I'm glad you said that.
I'm not going to, they're not going to sit me down. And I think Jalen Smith is one of those guys too. I got the swipe. I got the contract. They're not going to sit me down. But see, once you sit one of those guys down, once you tell them, look, I don't give a rat's ass who you are, how much you're getting paid. Sit your ass on the bench because you're not doing shit. You're not busting a grape. You don't get their attention. If I can continually to get it, it's just like little kids. If you go ahead and do some stupid shit and mom says, don't do that, you're going to be in trouble, right? And doesn't do anything, you do it again because she's just going to say, don't do that again, and I still get away with it. And that's what these guys are doing. It's like they're entitled, like I got the star on my helmet, everybody wants to talk to me, everybody loves me, everybody wants to go to my autograph signing and buy my jersey and everything else, and then I don't have to do shit.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give you an analogy to go with your mom thing. Think of the players as students, right? Mm-hmm. And the coaches as the teacher and Jerry Jones as the mom. Now, listen, watch this.
Is he wearing a dress?
Medea, the white Medea.
Oh.
Now, listen. Follow me now. Follow me. I know when I grew up, there was parents like this. I had friends that had parents like this. I knew people that had parents like this. You know how you had that problem child?
Yeah.
That the teacher would say, "Hey, calm down. If not, I'm gonna tell you folks." Mm-hmm. I would have friends that would say, tell my folks. I go tell my folks for you. Yeah. And the mom will come in here and say, you better leave my child alone. Mm-hmm. He's yada, yada, da, da, da. You know who that mom is? That's Jerry Jones. Yeah. We come out and we say, Jalen Smith, you're playing like shit. You got to be better. Well, I think Jalen's a cornerstone.
Oh, my God.
He's going to stick
I was like, what
time.
The hell are you talking about? He's a cornerstone. I'm like, dude. And when Zeke Elliott's our best player.
That's the other one. That's my next one.
I was like,
that's my next one. Hey, Zeke is he's fumbling and bumbling and doing all that. It's just terrible year in regards to fumbles. He probably should get benched for a little bit. They send the message. Well, I think Ezekiel Elliott's our best player.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Well, if
you're undermining your coach.
If the owner is saying, hey, these guys are okay, then the coach, what can the coach really do? If he sat down a dude that the owner paid $12.5 million for at middle linebacker, true. Think Jerry just going to be cool with that?
You're right.
It sucks because that goes back to the my guy statement. My boy, this is, hey man, I took a chance on Jalen Smith in the second round. I paid him that contract. That's my guy.
Yeah,
I took a chance
on I'm gonna prove that I was right, and that's what we did with Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett is the right guy for the. He's gonna lead us to and he was gonna fall on that sword. And had we beaten the Eagles last year, Jason Garrett would still be here. Maybe we've been in better shape. I don't know. But it's crazy.
That's interesting about the JG. I don't mean to go off track. Ironically, I know this is gonna sound crazy, guys, because I was all about getting rid of Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Ironically, it probably would have made more sense if he had one more year on his contract due to this COVID stuff.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to change anything. We changed so much.
Herein lies the problem. Yeah. Jerry Jones kind of admitted this and said, well, we tried to change the defense by Skype. No kidding, without having the players involved and not having practice. At least the offense, the offense seemed to have, a grip on things because, one, you had a quarterback who had a practice field in his backyard. Everybody came over. Dak knows what he's running. He's got the receivers. They can get on the same page. That's why they went hit the ground running. If you're a linebacker or a defensive lineman, that shit don't work. Mm-mm. You can't, do practice, it just doesn't work the same. You got to get out there and actually hit. And so changing this defense, didn't necessarily have the players that are the right ones. Everybody thinks a defensive tackle is a defensive tackle or, offensive tackle is an offensive tackle, but there's a big difference between playing on the left and the right. It's like if you're writing with your right hand, try and write with your left because everything else it's the same thing when you're an offensive tackle. switching sides. The footwork is backwards. The eyesight, everything changes. And if you're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4 or 4-3 to a 3-4, it's not the same type of guys. Now, the good thing, and this is where I'm kind of wondering where we go from here on the rest of the season, because we actually found some diamonds in the rough that we probably wouldn't have found had everybody else been healthy, or if like Don Terry Poe, because I look at my man, the Canadian Bulldozer, since week 9, which really is when he really started playing quite a bit, he's actually ranked as the 4th highest defensive tackle that's a rookie. And that's really just on 3 games. He's had, and don't I know our defense is terrible and we can't stop the run, but one guy can't do it all. But you look at this guy as a young guy who's playing, better than what you would think as that rookie. You can look at Tyler Badass. He got his opportunity because Travis Frederick ended up retiring and Joe Looney gets hurt. You realize, hey, this is actually our center of the future. So we're actually seeing some guys that are actually playing well that have gotten an opportunity. To me, this seems to be that time to send messages to those guys that you can't trade because you owe too much money, like a Jalen Smith. You can cut him if you want to, but you're only saving $400,000. I don't know that he'll take a pay cut because that's against what the NFLPA wants you to do.
You can get out of it.
Well, you can. You can go ahead and you can split it up.
Will it happen? It won't.
No, it won't. But send a message to them and say, sit your ass down. Bradley and not Bradley and I.
Francis Bernard or
no,
Luke Gifford?
Luke Gifford just got back because of the 2 games. Put him out there. Let Jalen Smith sit on the sidelines there and pout and want to get back out there. Show me some desire. Earn your way out there. I hate when guys are just, anointed as the guy, you're the starter and everything else. Make these guys start earning it and give some of these younger guys a chance. Because, see, I want to actually, I'm going to take you off the screen here for a second because I want to, for all you guys, check out Skywalker Steele. Skywalker Steele, he is one of those young guys, man, that knows his shit.
Oh, man, appreciate that.
Okay, now, let me see if I got this right here. Let me see, is this the right one? Okay, because, again, one of these guys that we have literally trashed, I've trashed him myself, Terrence Steele, because the other morning I got up and I looked at this and I was like, damn, my man has already done his homework. But I want you to watch up here with Terrence Steele on some of the hits that he was making. Okay, you saw the little yellow circle. I got to figure out how to do that. But watch him go out here on this pull. Bam. When he hits him, he gets knocked out the way. It's like, oh, damn. He's improving. Here we go again. Look, pass blocking. Boom. He's got his man. Okay. There's one in here where he takes down my man, Calais Campbell.
Yeah, he got a nice little block on Calais.
And
I think it's the last one.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so
right
he's actually benefited. There you go, right there. Yeah. That's Calais Campbell, 6'8" Calais Campbell that he is riding down the line. That's a great block. So this is a guy who has benefited from being able to get out there and actually play. So now you look at it and say, oh, okay, maybe he's not a throwaway after all.
So let me clarify some things because boy, oh boy, Twitter, Twitter world is wild.
The Twitter world, okay.
Twitter machine's crazy. So a lot of people on Twitter took that as I'm anointing Terrence Steele. Mm-hmm. I'm saying Terrence Steele's a good player or anything like that. No, I was doing 2 things with the Steele breakdown. Mm-hmm. I wanted to illustrate the difference between Terrence Steele today and Terrence Steele in weeks 1 through 7 or what have you. Mm-hmm. He got put on the bench, like you said.
Yeah,
you ain't playing well. Sit your ass down. Now, did it take long? It took a long time. Yes. But I think you see over the last 3 games that his technique, his skill is getting better. And I attribute that to Joe Philbin. Excuse me. And I wanted to point that out because a lot of people are getting on a lot of coaches, but there's one coach that's not getting any credit here. Mm-hmm. And it's Joe Philbin. I know you're probably like, what do you mean? The offensive line coach is bad. What do you mean? No.
Nobody's had more changes than him. Every week it's a different lineup.
Exactly.
You know, you're
check
taking an
this out,
all-pro
Mark.
guard and made him a tackle, and he gets hurt, and now you're going back to what's your fifth-string tackle. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
You just don't normally. You know, you're expected to fail when you have that kind
You're
of stuff.
expected to fail, and collectively, you know this. You probably played on either the offense or defensive line.
Both.
Okay, so you know that collectively you need to have the group play together for a while to cohesion to be a good unit. But if you take them out individually and you see, okay, Connor Williams is having his best year of his career. He just is, whether you like him or not, he is. Even if you want to replace him, those are facts.
Yeah.
Cam Irving is having his best year of his career. Now his season's over, by the way, guys.
Right. Yeah, he put on injured reserve again today.
Yeah. We drafted a 4th round center. That center showed that he is our guy now. Under Joe Philbin. Connor McGovern been put in that lineup, and Connor McGovern has been rock solid, guys. So all these guys are performing. And then Terrence Steele finally showing something, but we know he's still far. He's a long ways to go.
Right.
Nonetheless, Joe Philbin, in my opinion, should be the MVP coaching wise of this season. Everyone else has a big fat F right now. I know McCarthy or whatever, but everybody else gets a big fat F. But Philbin, you get an A, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, so, you know, we only have so much time tonight to go through all the stuff in here. But I want to address the elephant in the room, which is our quarterback. Sure. You know, a lot of people keep thinking that, you know, right now, if we lose to Cincinnati, which it's a possibility the way we've been playing, you know, we could have the number 3 pick if we stay in that position, but we should be probably in a top 5 or at least a top 10. Hypothetically, if we were in that position, you know, you've heard Jimmy Johnson saying he expects the Cowboys to re-sign Dak Prescott, but take a quarterback.
What?
And you know, you and I had a conversation earlier today about this because I look at all of the problems we have on the team, and if Dak comes back, I know Amari Cooper, who's on pace for close to 1,200 yards again, okay? I know CeeDee Lamb, and I know Michael Gallup. I know those guys work really well with Dak Prescott, regardless of how bad the line is, because the line's been bad all season.
Right.
So to me, you know, all these teams that are reaching, trying to get a good quarterback, we got one that doesn't have to have the learning curve. So that's just me. A lot of the fans out there think that, oh, just grab another quarterback so we can save money, so we can spend it on the defense. Your thoughts? And is it just that easy, just draft another quarterback?
It's not that easy, man. We have to deal with the realities, number one. The number one reality is there's this myth that the Cowboys are going to save $40 million and that Stephen Jones is going to spend it on a bunch of players.
Right.
That has never happened. That has not happened in the Tony Romo era. That has not happened in the Dak Prescott era, where Steven really had a hold of all this stuff, right? So we got to get this myth out of our heads that, okay, we're going to take that and go sign a bunch of free agents. First of all, spending $200 million in the
Robert Drayden, thank you for that super chat.
Shout out to you, Robert. Is not the way to go, Mark. Spending $200 million is not the way to go. It just $200 million in free agency is not the way to go.
It worked 1 year for the Giants in 2016, and then from that point on, they were screwed because they didn't play after that. And here's the thing. This is the other thing I was talking about with you earlier today. I've had some people that say, well, you know what, trade Dak Prescott to the Jets so that way you can get Trevor Lawrence, and if you have I'm just saying, I just want to try and put out there at least the plausibility or make the discussion or the argument why it would be stupid. Because, you know, take a look at the Eagles, guys. Okay, the Eagles, as bad as we are, we're in better shape than the Eagles. Right or wrong?
I would agree. Definitely can bring back that.
They still have their quarterback healthy, and he's terrible, right? Their team, their roster, you know, Jason Peters is way over the hill, okay? He just had season-ending surgery, but they shouldn't have even brought him back. You look at Zach Ertz, he's kind of a shell of himself. You look at guys like Deshaun Jackson, who, you know, definitely has only played, 3 games in the 2 years that they've had him. Most of their roster has gotten – I'm seriously, I told Philly 500, man, we got D-Jax back, man. You know, we got a deep threat for the North Dakota assassin. You know, he's going to be going – it's like, dude – He's got that Washington and Tampa Bay stank on him, and he's old.
Mark,
Benny Holmes, what's up, man? Thank you for that super chat.
Don't forget they drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
Oh, but not only that, they ended up also Whiteside. They drafted over DJ. The very next pick on both of them.
Oh my
it's
God.
like, oh, damn, how the hell does that happen? And, of course, we take CeeDee Lamb. So when you look at the Eagles situation, you got a problem at quarterback that you can't change. You've got an aging roster, and you're at $263 million for cap next year. I mean, that's their number right now. So they have to gut the team. They got to rebuild, and they got a quarterback that's trash. Right?
Yeah, they're in trouble.
The reason I point to this is I say that's on the Eagles because they made the trade. They moved up, and they traded with the Cleveland Browns. And if you look at Cleveland and the situation that they're in right now, they got cap space. They have a roster that's young, that's playing better, and they don't have the problems that the Eagles have. And again, they traded up to get their quarterback. The Cleveland Browns took all those picks, put guys in there that are young, that aren't getting paid a whole lot of money. And you can look at the Rams versus the Titans. Same thing. The Titans ended up trading with the Eagles 2 number ones, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. One of those picks ended up being Derrick Henry in the second round. And you look at, the Rams aren't in as bad a shape as the Eagles, but the Tennessee Titans are in a whole lot better shape, having not moved up to get that quarterback. And see, to me, if we have an opportunity to get one of those, Justin Fields or, any of those guys, and somebody wants to get them, by all means, that's your Herschel Walker trade to start filling in some of these holes with some of these guys out here who, literally say they don't give 100%.
You build, and we're talking defense here. Let's just be real, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Our offense is fine. Once you drop Dak back in there, you get healthy with Tyron and Lyle Collins. Your offense is loaded, and Jarwin back. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking
Jarwin's
defense.
back already.
No, next year.
Okay, but
once you get Jarwin back is what I'm saying.
Didn't he play last week? Am I wrong in that?
Nah, he's ACL. He done.
I thought. Okay, I must be okay. I'm getting old, man. I'm 55. I could have sworn. Okay, because
sometimes Schultz resembles them. Sometimes, not all.
Are you saying all white guys look alike?
You said it. We was thinking it, but you said it.
Okay, we kid because we love. Okay, we kid because don't send me the hate mail. Don't send me the hate mail.
All white guy tight ends with the jersey numbers 86 or 89. There we go.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna pull up one more thing real quick because I got a few notes here.
Yeah,
I just want to let me see. This is because guys seem to think that every quarterback that's drafted in the first round is going to be a Super Bowl Hall of Famer and everything else. This is a list of the top 25. This isn't having like your DeMarcus Russells on there. These are quarterbacks that were drafted number 1. This is the list of the best ones, okay? And we've seen quite a few that have been bust. I mean, you look at, I'll go and talk about Winston and Mariota, look at those two, 1 and 2. You look at Drew Bledsoe and Rick Meyer and things like that. None of those guys really did anything, although Bledsoe had a pretty good career. But here's what we got. Jamarcus Russell, 24, bust. Tim Couch, 23, number 1 draft pick, bust. David Carr, I forgot. He can do the Super Bowl carnival game. He can do that, okay?
Oh, yeah, that was ridiculous.
Okay? We're talking about guys that were drafted as a number 1 pick. Kyler Murray, he's showing promise. Jameis Winston, number 1 pick. Would you say he's a bust?
Yes.
Okay. Sam Bradford, I literally made $125 million and never made it to the playoffs.
Bradford.
Okay? Number 1 pick. Baker Mayfield. Do you look at him as a game changer?
He's not no number. He should never be. I like Baker's personality, but come on.
Okay. Steve Barkowski, none of you guys know him, but Jeff George, oh my God. You talk about had a cannon for an arm, but a bust.
Brandon Wheaton of his era.
Carson Palmer, he was okay. Alex Smith.
Good year. A good career.
This year, a good year, yeah. But
good career.
Jared Goff, can you say he's above average?
he's about average. He's a very meh quarterback to me.
Vinny Testaverde, long career, finished up in Dallas, but okay. Andrew Luck, the guy they said was a generational player, couldn't stay healthy.
He wasn't generational. That's what's crazy.
But see, that's what they said, and that's what they're saying about my man now. That, best prospect since Andrew Luck. But they literally said Andrew Luck will be a generational talent. Drew Bledsoe is okay. He got a Super Bowl ring. He helped him get into that first one in the AFC Championship. Matthew Stafford, you talked about him. He just got screwed by the Lions, but still a number 1 pick. Michael Vick made a whole bunch of money, lost a lot of it, made some more of it back. Okay. You had Jim Plunkett, kind of a journeyman quarterback, finally found a home with the Raiders, getting the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Eli Manning. Here's the most interesting part of this. Eli Manning is the last quarterback that was drafted number 1 pick that won a Super Bowl. 2004. Think about that. Cam Newton, 2011, he was in a Super Bowl, didn't win one. And, of course, Troy Aikman back in 1989. That was back when it was great. Terry Bradshaw, John Elway, and, of course, Peyton Manning. So you go way back, number 1 drafted quarterbacks succeeded. Now, there's no guarantee on any of these guys. You think about some of the guys that have been roadkill that have been drafted in the first round, and if you miss on that guy, you're setting your team back. And if you're trading picks to get that guy, you've just destroyed your roster. I look back when we signed, we moved up for Morris Claiborne.
Yeah.
We took a number 1 and number 2. Well, number 1 needs to be a day 1 starter, right? He needs to be an impact player, and pick number 2 should be a starter on your team. So not only did you miss on Morris Claiborne, you lost out on having that second-round guy that should be a starter as well.
Wagner.
Yeah, exactly. So, for me, I'm all in with being able to trade back, because if I can trade back and I'm still like in the top 10, I can fill in one of those holes real well. And if I'm getting an extra second-round pick, I can start filling in another one. I mean, we already have a boatload of picks. We've got our first, our second, 2/3, 2/4, 1/5, 2/6, and a 7th. I think that's where we are.
For the comp pick?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
Well, no, altogether. Okay. We got
like 9. I think we got 9 picks this year, maybe.
We got 4 compensatory picks. We
Okay.
got a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th. Yeah, we got 11 picks. Yeah, we got a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th. And see, this is the other mistake that I think the Cowboys make too often, and it is holding on to guys and figuring we can't live without them and do the big contracts. Because you hold on to that guy, he's getting older, you got a whole boatload of money and things like that. I look at New England, and New England has gone through and won the Super Bowl and turned around and had 12 draft picks the next year because they keep reloading. They trade around, and they make, they find guys that fit their system. And instead of signing those big contracts like the Trey Flowers, you let them go to Detroit. You got a compensatory pick for him.
That's because the Cowboys, they evaluate how and who they pay wrongly.
True.
They do it.
True. Let's play the running back instead of quarterback. That'll work. Zeke Elliott. Yeah, he's the reason why we got everything in.
You brought up the Patriots. You know what? Now again, I really try not
to compare the Patriots too much because I just feel like Bill Belichick at his peak,
different level,
and it just, oh man, he's just different. The way they operate is different. But nonetheless, they were ahead of the curve in the sense that they said, we don't need to pay a crazy running back. If we want to, we can go get a bunch of running backs. We can trade for them. We can draft them, what have you.
Right.
We don't even need to pay big money to the pass rusher, which seems asinine, right? Like, no, go pay money to the pass rusher. You know what they did, Mark? They invested in a secondary because they saw where the league was going.
Yeah.
They would go get a Harrison. They would go get a Aqib Talib. They would go get a Darrell Revis, a Stephon Gilmore, a McCourty, and I can keep going with the secondary players. They put money and resources into what they were just progressive thinking people. Dallas, for whatever reason, acts like this is still 1992.
Hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. I think somebody didn't get enough love when they were a child because he is literally stuck on stupid. Because Dak Prescott is not accurate past 20 yards. He's dinking Dak. How stupid is somebody like that?
You just ignore that stuff. That's just that myth has been blown up 2 years ago, man.
I mean,
these are just
literally, you're just saying, hey, look at me. I'm a fucking idiot, okay? I'm a fucking idiot. Hey, okay.
Listen, this is what you tell him, Mark.
I don't like your attitude.
There you go. I don't like his attitude.
Get your damn act together.
Oh, see, I hear it on your side. Why is it you don't hear mine?
Because my audio is coming through one thing here. And
mine's coming through my mixer too.
Interesting. We'll have to mess around with it.
I just they hear it. They hear it. What? It's hooked up to that computer that's hooked up to the Skype and all that.
I don't think your Skype is hooked up to this. That's the thing.
My Skype is hooked up to all of this stuff in this. Well, anyway, we'll talk later.
We'll talk.
Okay, because you're dealing with broke ass media here. Because when broke ass media has a problem, they just ask it right in the middle of a show. Okay, because we don't know when we're gonna get them again. It might cost us too much to call them back up.
Oh, we're good.
Okay, but I agree with you on that evaluating talent. The thing, and the other thing too, is we don't seem to know how to get the talent out of the players. Too many times you see players that leave here and get coached or go in a better system and play well. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, we see it with Anthony Hitchens was deep, but Anthony Hitchens left.
Man.
Damian Wilson left.
Yeah.
And obviously I heard Mike say Claiborne. They all got Super Bowls last year on a better team, and they played pretty well.
Brandon Carr got what, 2 interceptions this time here?
Carr.
He goes to Baltimore in first year, 3 interceptions. It's like, what? And you see, like Marcellus Bennett.
Yes.
Well,
Bennett always had it, but Jason Witten.
But it's like we don't seem to understand how to do it, because this is the thing that always bothered me about the Cowboys with Jason Garrett was he would always say the way we do things around here. Which means I'm rigid. This is the way we're going to do it, and that's it. And see, you got to understand that you have to adapt to what you have. Joe Gibbs, as much as I hate the Washington football team, Joe Gibbs came from Air Coryell. You're probably too young to remember that.
I know Air Coryell.
But Air Coryell was like Peyton Manning back in the Stone Ages of football. They literally threw the ball deep almost every single play. And that's where Joe Gibbs came from. He goes to Washington as head coach. He tries to run that the first part of the season. It don't work because he doesn't have the wide receivers. He's got a big, slow, bruising running back in John Riggins. And he decides, okay, we're going to come up with something new. We're going to do a one-back set. We're going to come up with an H-back, which is basically taking the fullback and making him kind of like a tight end. He's kind of like a hybrid. And they go on and win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. He evolved and adjusted to the situation, was able to change. And it seems like the Cowboys have always been so fucking rigid. Excuse my language. I'm just spitting. I'm literally spitting up in here. But
keeping it real.
But they literally are so rigid of how we do stuff that we've been stuck on stupid. And we've taken players that have a certain set of skills and we ignore them and say, yeah, we understand you're great at that, but I don't want that. You go ahead and you do this. And you kill a player.
The Jason Garrett era was trying to put, what's it called, square pegs in round holes. Far too long.
Yeah.
Far too long.
And that was the thing that drove you crazy. Now, of course, everybody's like had a revelation and says, "Oh, I want Jason Garrett back." It's like, oh god.
Listen, guys, for that Jason Garrett stuff, it was time to go. It just was.
Right.
Just because it was time to move on from Jason Garrett and it's not working without him now does not mean keeping him would have been the correct decision.
Exactly.
Extending him for 5 years would have been the correct decision. It was time to go. They could have made a mistake on hiring Mike McCarthy. That's one thing, okay? But you still had to let Jason Garrett go, man. 10 years. Nothing. End of discussion.
All right, so you and I have maybe a difference of opinion here. So your opinion is Mike McCarthy stays a couple more years regardless.
Well, I wouldn't say never, ever, ever regardless. Never, ever regardless. 1 year.
Edward, you're 100 on that, man. No team with a trash defense has ever won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's hard to do. That's hard to do.
The closest I would say would be the Colts when they won their first one, Peyton Manning. Their defense was not good until the playoffs. The playoffs, they turned it up a notch. They turned it up quite a bit of a notch. But going into it, They were terrible. Their defense was terrible going into
the Giants did the same thing. The Giants defense was really not that great of a defense. They just turned it on towards the end of the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Hell, the Chiefs were the same way. But
if you got a defense that's giving up 32 points, oh my God. Oh God.
Yeah.
You know how bad that number is?
Oh, I know. I'm a number guy.
Right now, our defense, points given up on a season, is the 6th worst, and we still have 4 games less.
Of all time, you mean?
Of
right?
all time, Dallas Cowboys defense. They're only 37 points away from being the worst. Do you think that they're going to give up 37 points between now and the end of the season?
Who they play? Bengals, Eagles, Giants. Nah. They don't play enough. They don't play good enough offenses for that to happen.
Look, if they give up, so you're saying that they will end up giving up less than 10 points a game?
No. Oh, I thought you were saying, will they give up over 37 points per game?
No. They only need to give up 37 to be the worst.
Oh, total. Oh, God.
Okay.
Shit, that's what happened. I'm sorry. Maybe this next game.
436 is the number. We're at like 399.
Wow.
I'm telling you, in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, it's the 6th worst of the Dallas Cowboys history at 12 weeks.
They're going to break it.
That's what I'm saying. They only have to give up 37 points for the next 4 games, and it's the worst defense scoring-wise that we've ever had. You can't win the Super Bowl. You can't win games if you have to score over 33 points a game. It's not I'm sorry, it's not feasible. As much as Acho tries to say, well, the Cowboys were losing games. Yeah, okay, but at least we were competitive. At least we were scoring some points and having a chance. When you go out and you're scoring, 3 points or 10 points in a game, oh, jeez.
You got me. Listen, I was watching that beginning with Acho, man. I really have it for that guy. He's a very articulate and smart guy, but I would love to debate Acho about the Cowboys, because what happens is you get these media guys that don't really follow the Cowboys like we do, don't really know the intricacies of the Dallas Cowboys, and they give you these low-hanging fruits for the nation to just eat on. And people like us, in my opinion, who know what the hell we're talking about with the Cowboys, we know what you're saying is bullshit, Acho. But you're a big media person, you're doing great things, so nobody's really checking you. Marcellus be checking him, but it's Marcellus Wiley. It just looked like, we going back and forth for the media. Nah, fam, let a regular motherfucker check you real quick.
Oh, damn, man. Just put it out there like that, man.
I will.
All right, so tell me, tell everybody about your channel and everything that you're doing, because you are all over the place, man.
Yeah, man, I am everywhere, huh? But my channel is Dallas Cowboys Network. I think it was Jet D. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you dropping the link in the chat. Hey, come on over, man. Follow me. I drop all types of stuff on that channel, from highlights to film breakdowns. I do live streams as well. I have a show with the other fellas, Law Nation, Big Game James. I do a whole lot, man. Also, I'm a producer on the side for KD, Drummond, and Pat Walker for their podcast. So, you'll see me, and I'm mostly very active on Twitter at Skywalker Steele. Definitely. On Twitter. Make sure you guys hit me up there. I chat with
film breakdown man. Incredible film breakdown and stuff, and it hits you the same way that it hit me in real time when we were watching the game, and Andy Dalton had that hop skip. I was like, what the hell? Did he see ghosts or something? What the hell was that?
Did you see that? Did you see the all 22 of the hop skip? See, it's funny. On the broadcast, they didn't show us the whole field. If he didn't hop skip, he had Michael Gallup wide open for a touchdown. This is the things that people that was screaming Andy Dalton is better than Dak. What are you watching? I just don't understand this mess, man. I don't.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, that was so funny, because I remember Colin Cowherd. The difference between Dak and every. It's really nothing. The Cowboys are better off, and there's many people that thought that Andy Dalton was going to be able to take his job. I'm sorry, it's not even close.
Acho said, the Cowboys will be a better team than with Dak or with Andy Dalton than Dak Prescott. Let me tell you what I mean. They'll be a better team. Fam, we're 3-9. Andy Dalton he's been trash to mediocre.
Terrible. All right. So if you are the GM and you're looking at this team as they are right now, what are your moves for the rest of the season? Are you doing anything? Are you putting
Absolutely.
anybody on notice? Are you telling the coaches we need to start playing the young guys? What are you doing?
That's what you got to do now. You have to see what you have in some of these guys moving forward. Now, here's the thing. I don't mean bench all your veterans and play
Alan Williams,
every young
shout
guy.
out to my man Steele.
Appreciate you, Alan. So I don't mean play every single last young guy, 100% of the snaps. Because let's just be real. Development is a real thing. Sometimes it takes a player a year or two to develop. Maybe, I hate to say this, but maybe Reggie is not ready. Reggie Robinson, I'm talking about. He's the one that we all want to see Reggie Robinson. If he can't get on the field for Darian Thompson, something got to be up.
Right.
Something has got to be up. And I always go back to what Bones and Mike McCarthy said earlier. We're just trying to get him to understand special teams calls. If Reggie is struggling with special team calls, he's likely going to struggle with the defense
calls. Yeah. And Lord knows we got a lot of that going on right now.
Right. So maybe Reggie just ain't ready to just hop in there yet. But somebody like Bradley and somebody like Luke Gifford, who's been around for a year or two, let's see what they got now. There's only 4 games left. Let's see what we can build on. I talk about how this season is lost collectively, but that doesn't mean that some of these players individually can't find themselves, and we can go into the offseason knowing a little bit more about this team than we do now. Because if we go into the offseason right now as constructed, Mark, what can you go in the offseason and say, hey, we're good at this, or this player is good at this? There's nothing on the defensive side of the ball you can say we're good at, or this player is good at right now in regards to these young guys and young veterans. There's nothing.
And see, this is my thing, and this has been the conundrum for me is, I want to get those draft picks and everything else, but, and everybody's just tank. But there's a lot to be said for finishing up the season, on a high note. If you look like complete trash, the guys go in the offseason like, damn, we just are terrible. You're just like, I just want to get this thing over with. But if you look at, say, the Washington football team and the Giants right now, one of them's going to probably win the division, the other one's not. But they're trending in the right way. They're going to be excited as they go in the offseason. They're going to say, hey, this is the first year with our coach, Ron Rivera, man. He's our guy. They're going to buy into it and believe into it. There's nothing worse than having a team that does not believe in the coach. And if the coach is out here, and yelling at you guys and everything else, and they're looking at him and saying, look at this dumbass, man, he doesn't know what they're doing, you're never going to win. And I'm worried that from the time we ended up punting on that 24-yard line, that was the moment that they lost the team. You could see in that Washington game, that team just literally, the air went out the building, and it was just like, you know what I mean?
I feel like the coaches really did a disservice to those players that week of that game when Paul died. Marcus Paul passed away.
Yeah, your
team was fighting.
Yeah,
your struggling team was fighting. They weren't playing horrible ball going into that fourth quarter, and you as coaches really let your squad down. 4th and inches, forget 1. 4th and inches, you do a drop back pass 6 yards down the field to the right sideline. 4th and 10 on your own 24-yard line, you do a fake punt. You took the game out of your players' hands. You took it out with ridiculous decisions. So they did them a huge disservice that week. And you're right. I think that definitely sucked because there was still hope. There was still a chance for them to win this terrible division, or at least still compete and go into these last 4 games saying, okay, if we split 2-2 and we're 6-10, at least they fought. Right. And you have some positive momentum. There is none right now. We need to find some. That doesn't mean we're going to win, but we need to find some kind of positive momentum.
Robert Drayden, thank you very much for that super chat, man. Great question. He said, I've seen all 5 of the Super Bowls. Which was the best? I'm going to actually say, I've seen all 8 of them.
That's a good question.
I'm going to say when the Cowboys beat Miami. Now, I was only 7 years old, I think, at the time, and I don't remember the game that much. But what I do remember, because I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, and my dad being a Dallas Cowboy fan, all I knew is I wanted to be like my dad. And I remember when we lost to the Colts, and I remember how dejected he was because the Cowboys not only lost to the Green Bay Packers in the Ice Bowl, they lost the next year to them in the championship game, and the Cowboys were known as that great regular season team. They just can't win the big one. But that year, they finally got it against the Miami Dolphins. I remember the joy and how happy my dad was right then. And that, for me, seeing and remembering that will always live on forever. Now, of course, beating Buffalo twice, of course, was always really good, as well as beating Denver. I mean, I remember them all. They were all, I tell you what, does it really matter when you win one? They were all great, okay? It's been so damn long. I would take even a butt ugly one, okay, right now. We're so far from the Super Bowl, it's not even funny. But speaking of that, Steele, if we end up having a good draft, if the Cowboys aren't insane and re-sign Dak, you think we turn this shit around?
I think we'll be a much better team, but I don't think it stops at signing Dak and a good draft. I don't think it stops there. I think we definitely have to make a coaching change on the defensive side of the ball. We have to. That's number one after Dak Prescott. When in regards to coaching, that's number one. Number two is, we can't expect 8 or 9 rookies to come in here and put all this pressure on them as if they're going to completely make this team a juggernaut or make this team a Super Bowl contender. One thing that Dallas does not do well, and we already seen Stephen Jones talk about money, is they don't do the free agency pool well at all.
They are terrible. Oh my God, they are the worst at getting free agents.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to think of one free. I mean, Alden Smith is about the only success story you can see in recently.
Barely.
Okay, Brandon Carr was competent, but he wasn't the guy that you thought was going to be a lights out.
Wasn't the guy you paid for.
You know, we paid $54 million for him. Greg Hardy, okay. T.O. was okay, but still T.O. was a pain in the ass.
I think T.O. was probably
he's probably the best free agent one we had, but it didn't help us get very far. And we've made boneheaded trades from like Galloway, Roy Williams. Those 2 trades were
terrible.
Insane. Oh my God. So the only thing that we have actually done well is actually drafting. For me, here's the thing. We know that the offense, we don't know how many games Tyron Smith will be able to play next year. Hopefully we can draft another tackle to get into the mix and so forth.
Hey,
Mike,
what if I told you
my mic is fuzzing out? Okay. Let me know if it happens again there, buddy. I think it's something with the computer. It may end up being it's overheating. I need to cool it down. We know that the offense can score points. We don't necessarily need to have the best defense in the world. If our defense could just say, take off, 8, 9 points a game, you know what I mean? I mean, it'd be great if we could get down into the teens at points-wise.
More importantly,
get the ball.
More importantly, they need to address position. I know a position that you love, but they need to address the middle of the defense, Mark. Defensive tackle and safety. And I don't want to go on a tangent because maybe we'll save it for next week's show.
I swear. I don't understand why they never believe in safety and defensive tackle.
Man, I'm gonna drop a video on it. It's bad. Listen to this, Mark. The Cowboys have spent the least amount of money on safeties and defensive tackles than any other team in the league over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And this is why that is so crazy. Because that doesn't just mean, they don't want to spend a bunch of money in free agency. It's not free agency that's the problem. That's just the problem. You got to remember, over the last 8 years, they haven't drafted a safety or defensive tackle worthy of signing the second contract for a long-term deal.
Right. And they keep doing the same thing over and over again. And it's kind of like, we learned that lesson with Tony Romo here with the offensive line. When Tony Romo kept getting killed, it used to be we kept signing these, second-tier free agent offensive linemen and things like that, and figured, we're okay with that. And they finally realized, we need to put an offensive line together to protect Tony Romo. And then it ended up being that Tony Romo had the bad back and stuff in that first game of the season, 2014. 3 interceptions, and he couldn't look like he'd throw the ball past 20 yards. And so they realized, we got to run the football, and all of a sudden the light bulb came on and said, if we run the football, then we can take some of the pressure off the quarterback. So we were forced to change to that, and then we ended up having that great offensive line. But that revelation just doesn't seem to happen on the defensive line. Like you said, 8 years we haven't done
They don't invest
shit.
in it. They don't invest in it enough. They don't invest in enough in the draft. They don't invest in enough in free agency. The last time they drafted a safety higher than the 4th round, by the way, that 4th round pick was Matt Johnson from a D2 school, but nonetheless, higher than the 4th round was a converted running back from another D2 school in J.J. Wilcox. I mean, that's terrible. You have to put resources in a position that the league is requiring you to do that. It's a passing league.
Yeah.
You need somebody back there. I have a guy in free agency. I know we're not going to spend the money, but I'm tired of trying to take 6th-round picks, Mark, and turn them in and make them into Pro Bowlers. Just go get the damn Pro Bowler.
Oh, you sound like I do now. You sound mad.
I'm mad. I am. I'm fed up with the way they attack that. I can't be all the way mad at them in the draft because I think they've done well. Let's just be real. They've done pretty well in the draft, but you cannot just build the team solely through the draft. To me, it's a 3-step process for defense. You build the core of your defense in the draft. Go look at all these really good defenses around the league. The core of the defense is built through the draft. But you also see that they've signed 1 or 2 premium free agents, and at the same time, they've made savvy trades for veterans around the league that helps their team. So you have to do all 3. For instance, let's talk about the Steelers. T.J. Watt, Cameron Jordan, Devin Bush, right? Milton, and before the guy went down from Ohio State, that linebacker.
Guys that won't start on anybody else's team.
Well, some of those. No, T.J. Watt is a beast. These are good guys.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh,
for the Steelers, they drafted really well, good core players, but they weren't done yet. They went out and made a signing. They went out and traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
And what did it do?
Oh, it transformed the defense. Yeah. But we screwed up. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat and stuff, and I thought you were talking about somebody else. But yeah, TJ Watt, we missed up on, and because this goes back to that whole thing of, yeah, TJ Watt's done great things and all that, but he doesn't fit our profile. He doesn't have the length and everything that we like and stuff. And that's why they looked at Taco and said, he's got that length and that body and all that.
Marinelli. Blame Rod Marinelli.
Yeah. And that's where we got him. All right, so
nonetheless, man, I just hope that they could change a little. I'm not asking them to go super far left because I thought that they changed slightly last year in free agency. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought the free agent class was going to be pretty decent. I thought that we would get something out of McCoy. I thought because Poe had good tape, Everson Griffin had good tape.
Everybody, I was excited. I was like, oh man, we finally got a big man to go in the middle.
Right. So they signed guys that I don't think we would have necessarily signed in free agency under the old regime. So maybe they take it up just a little bit, even though I know Stephen Jones isn't talking that. But if you can just go out, okay, Stephen, you're not going to go out and get me a defensive tackle and a safety in free agency, but go get me one of them. Yeah. Let's start with one, right? Get me just one, and let's take baby steps because they're not going to change all the way. But nonetheless, they cannot just keep solely trying to rely on cheap labor in the draft, and that's it. Yes, it is very important to get cheap labor out of the draft, but it's also very important to be savvy in trades and savvy in free agency, and they are neither in those 2 departments.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to figure out who's going to be the defense and what kind of defensive front that we're going to run. That's going to be key because it just seems like a lot of confusion that's out there right now. All right, so you got a little bonus time up in here. Now, see, I'm old. I'm old, guys, and I got to get my rest and stuff. I know Skywalker, Steele, my man, can probably just go all night and everything.
I could.
But I'm going to give you the final thoughts and stuff up in here tonight. Whatever you want to talk about.
No, well, listen, I'll go. Let's go into the chat. Maybe we'll take a couple of questions from the chat. But for me, like I said, I just want to see the Cowboys in the offseason just give me some slight changes. I don't need you to go far left. If they could change just a little bit, bring Dak back, I feel like this team is back competing at the very least for the division next year. But, man, it's so many question marks between now and March. What is it, 15th or something like that when the new league year starts?
Yeah, well, it's going to start. The shit's going to hit the fan before that. Because I should have pulled up the dates, but I think it's February 21st is when you have to start designating your franchise tag. You got that 2-week window right there. So if the Cowboys don't have either a long-term deal or that franchise tag in place, Dak Prescott's a free agent. So the speculation is going to start out as soon as the Super Bowl. In fact, probably at the Super Bowl, that'll be the talk of the town.
As soon as our season's over.
Yeah, it will be, what will the Cowboys do? And if I'm Dak Prescott, I don't know that I'm coming in until I get a contract.
Oh, yes. Listen, I think we'll know. We'll have a very good indication of what's going to happen with Dak Prescott by that franchise tag deadline.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a very good indication. If he's franchise tagged, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up.
Well,
maybe
I think. Well, here's the thing. I think he will get franchise tag from Jump Street, but Dak because they need. I don't think they're going to be ready to do that deal as soon as the season's over. I think that buys them a little bit of time. But if I'm Dak Prescott, I go the Russell Wilson route. Basically, I say, if you do not sign me to a long-term deal by April 15th, when OTAs supposed to start, I will never sign a long-term deal with you. You can franchise tag me. I'll play on this year on that tag. I'll take your $37 million, but I ain't ever signed a long-term deal. He needs to actually go ahead and play hardball like everybody else. He's been the nice guy. You see the guys that get paid. Zeke says, I'm going to go to Cabo. Fuck it. D-Law, I'm not getting my shoulder worked on until I get my contract. You're going to pay me. Yeah. I've already gone through. I have put my ass on the line. I am now rehabbing because, and everything else. I put everything out there, and you see the difference of me being there versus all these other guys that you said were better than me. Oh, don't worry. I actually had people say that Ben DiNucci, oh, man, he's going to be a competition for Dak Prescott. You watch out by year number 2. Oh, Andy Dalton. Now we got a real quarterback in here. You're going to see a guy that knows how to look off the safety, and he's going to be able to know how to stretch the field, and throw guys open.
Jeez.
And
these type of people that's in your chat.
Jimmy, thank you very much for that super chat, man. But these are the same people that talk about, oh, well, Dak Prescott, he's getting all these yards in garbage time. Well, guess what? Our games are still in garbage time. Why aren't all these other guys getting these yards? Why aren't they getting 450 yards a game then?
You know what it is. That star on the helmet. Different treatment. I would like to see them have the contract done, because if you franchise tag him, you hold up about $38 million on your cap, and you cannot do nothing. Yep. You really can't.
Although that may be the best bet for the Cowboys, unable to waste some more money. But I agree with you 100% that the best thing to do is you go ahead, and they can do it if they want to. They can go through and they can do a little bit of restructuring, because the television contract is going to be up at the end of 2021. That thing is going to go through the roof. The salary cap is going to explode, which is part of the reason why Dak's agent was like, we don't want more than a 4-year deal. We know that come 2 years from now, $50 million is going to be the going rate for quarterbacks. And we don't want to be locked into that low rate. You had your opportunity to do that 2 years ago. So now you're gonna pay.
Could have got him for like 28.
Right. Yeah. But and this is the Cowboys' problem. And all these people that keep saying, well, you can't win with paying a quarterback. You didn't pay a quarterback for the last 4 years.
Jeez.
Okay. It got you out from underneath Tony Romo's, got you underneath Dez's contract and everything else, and enabled you to sign all these other guys because you didn't pay him. Well, guess what? The man deserves his money. He's definitely worth the value of it. I after seeing some of these other quarterbacks that are out here, I'm sorry. You ain't shown me shit when you talk about, all these young guys, just go out and draft a quarterback. Shit. You remember when we wanted Johnny Manziel? Okay. Remember when they wanted to trade up to get Paxton Lynch?
Yeah. Okay. Almost took Connor Cook
and all these guys. I mean, dudes. What are you thinking? It just blows my mind away with some of these people.
You know what cracks me up about people that say, don't pay him and yada yada yada. You want to draft a quarterback in the top 5 to be a top 10 quarterback, which you already have, number 1. You already have your top 10 quarterback.
And you hope that you can get him. You hope that you draft that guy.
Yeah. So if that quarterback is just as successful or slightly more successful than Dak, let's say he gets 2 playoff wins and Dak only has 1 playoff win, and he has decent stats, right? Or good stats. I'm going to call it decent. He has really good stats. He's been a really good quarterback. Are you then going to now throw away that young quarterback because he couldn't get over the hump due to a bad defense or due to a bad front office? So now we're recycling quarterbacks like they're running backs. Right. What are we doing? I'm sorry, Mark. That just really gets me going, fam. You got a top 10 quarterback. Pay him and build around him accordingly. It is not his job to tell the front office how to delegate the money to get the job done. Get the goddamn job done.
Well, the rest of the players all said, you know what? I'm going to get mine. It's your job to get yours, okay? I'm not trying to leave anything on the table for anybody else. I'm getting every penny that I can get, and I can't say that I blame them. You know what Dak Prescott left on the field there? His ankle, okay? That right there should let you know you need to get compensated for what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, he tried to smack that ankle back in, too. Get back in there.
Right.
Get off the field. Man, I do.
Yak Owens, Dak is better than any quarterback in the draft. Niner gang. Yeah, shout out to you. Thank you for that super chat, my man. It's funny. I was talking to my friend Lawrence yesterday, who's a Denver fan. He's like, man, I would kill to have Dak Prescott on my team.
Gosh.
He's like, you know how many quarterbacks we've gone through since Peyton Manning, where they've tried to sign veterans and everything else. They can't find a quarterback. You know, you look at the Washington football team. Now, Alex Smith is playing pretty well, but you don't look at Alex Smith and say that's a long-term solution for him.
Hell no.
You know, maybe one more year, you know, at best. You know, I still cringe every time I see him get hit.
Hey, let me tell you something. If I'm Washington, now, and I don't mean to go far left.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Washington, now you want to talk about making a little bit of a sacrifice to go get a Q, I'm trading up. No matter what happens for them, I'm trading up to go get me one of those young bucks, and let's see what happens. Because they defense, boy.
But you know what's key, though? Here's what's fun, and this is what I try and tell other Cowboy fans. Washington used to be the team that every year made the big splash in free agency. From Deion Sanders to Albert Hainsworth, Bruce Smith, you know, they all Adam Archuleta, they paid that guy a king's ransom. But every year they look, oh man, they got this guy and that guy. You know what? Their defense is a beast now. And you know why? They drafted. They invested. They didn't invest cash. They invested in the
draft capital. Yeah.
Right. They tried buying one every year, but it never worked. I mean, you know, they got Josh Norman. They had, you know, traded for Collins and all. No, they finally got a defense.
Jason Taylor's another one.
Oh, man. Yeah, Jason Taylor, literally at his Hall of Fame speech. I want to thank
Daniel
Snyder for letting me to steal money. I mean, he was like, I didn't do shit for that. I mean, so literally, they turned it around by realizing it doesn't work. We got to draft and get these guys on the defense. And if we ever started to believe that, oh, man.
You gotta build the core of your defense in the draft, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right, we got 3 minutes left, man. Let's get some of these questions up in here. Oddly, they didn't even speak about Carson Wentz being bent, and yes, fear, buddy. Dak is your first fear. You probably drew it. Okay. Yeah, we didn't talk. Do we really need to talk about Carson Wentz?
No.
Carson Wentz, he's dead to the Eagles right now. Yeah. They're not even talking about – they're looking at Hurts right now. But, you know, they're kind of screwed because of the contract situation, although I could see them maybe trading him to the Colts. And
I'm Frank Wright.
Yeah. Because right now they're spending like $46 million on quarterbacks because they've got Jacoby Brissett is at $21 million, I think, or $22 million. And Phillip Rivers is $25 million. So they're paying $47 million right now for quarterbacks. And that will go through and show you that, yeah, you can't actually pay a quarterback. You can't actually put money into the quarterback and win because they've got a great team. And again, that goes back to people that didn't do much here for us. The defensive coordinator, Eberflus.
Eberflus,
yeah. You know, he's there as their defensive coordinator. Yeah, he's doing some magic with that team. Just saying. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, all look like great quarterbacks. They can be great for the Cowboys. They're not teams like the Jets or the Bengals. You know, they all look good in college. Until they get into the pros. That's just what I'm going to say. There's no guarantee on any of those guys because, you know, a lot of times it's a guy like Tom Brady who doesn't even look like an NFL quarterback. He looked like a ball boy that got out on the field, and the guy ends up having 6 rings.
Mucho wants to know if we'll do a show again. I'm for sure.
Hey, are you asking us to do a show again, or are you saying, man, don't do a show again together? Which way is that going, man?
No, Mucho Boom, good. He good folks on my team. Actually, he found me because of you. So
okay.
Mucho cool.
All right, well, shout out
he
to,
wants to see.
Well,
It.
I want to make sure everybody goes through and subscribes to my man's channel here, man. Definitely show him the love. Marcus Skywalker, do you all think Dalton and Rush will be here next year? I think we should let them go and have Gilbert and DiNucci. I don't see Andy Dalton staying. Do you?
No.
Absolutely. I don't see.
There's no need. Here, this is what if that comes back, can we stop the exact opposite quarterback behind him? Get somebody that is similar in the sense of the skill set. Get somebody that's a little bit mobile.
There you go.
Somebody that you can run some of your offense without changing it. I never understood that. You go look in Baltimore. Granted, RG3 is not, what's the kid's name? Lamar Jackson. But you don't have to change your offense drastically when RG3's in there. So why can't we go get somebody like that? I mean, Gilbert, I like what I saw, but are we sold on Gilbert being the backup next year?
Every quarterback usually has one good game. Okay, from out the box, usually has one good game at least before coaches have a chance to look at the film and stuff on him. I mean, he played well, but actually he played better than.
Yeah, I like what I saw, but man,
yeah.
Let's see. I don't know what they're going to do at backup quarterback. Hell, we don't know what they're going to do at the starting.
So I was going to say, yeah, do we know what they're doing there? That's why Garrett's got to find because the Eagles game. Okay, James Madison, yes, JMU. But Ben being, but here's the thing on Ben DiNucci. I'm going to say this. And we're going to get ready to get out of here.
Okay.
They didn't really give Ben DiNucci a chance because it seemed okay. Well, here's the thing. How many trick plays did we end up working on that week?
Oh, my gosh. Like 8?
Because I'm sitting here thinking, and this is where I look at the Redskins defense. Like I said, I'm not the coach or anything, but something tells me with the defense that the Washington football team has, they have speed to get upfield. So if you're doing double reverses in the backfield, you are giving them time to penetrate. You need something that's going to hit right now. I would have gone through with Ben DiNucci and said, okay, you're basically a practice squad guy. We're going to take the 10 best plays that you know, and we're going to make sure you know those like the back of your hand, instead of us spending all week working on trick plays. That's just me. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. But
they should have rolled.
You basically said, we have no faith in you whatsoever.
They should have rolled Gilbert out there. That was terrible, man. What they did to Ben. Ben was not ready. Ben's not ready.
Yeah.
They sent him out there against a ferocious front, in my opinion. He's a one-read quarterback, and it showed on the tape. And again, I'm not even mad at him. He is a 7th round pick out of JMU. Is it JMU? Yeah. JMU.
Don't say nothing bad about JMU.
Listen, no disrespect to the
say
alma
nothing
mater.
about JMU.
No
JMU actually got quite a few players in the NFL currently.
Listen,
thank you very much.
But listen, Ben ain't the JMU ain't Alabama. He ain't playing Alabama over there. DiNucci. You know what I mean? So
I hear what you're saying. Just tread lightly on my JMU Dukes, okay? Tread lightly on my JMU. I will come on up 95 if I have to.
Don't like your attitude.
Hey.
All right, okay. Look. I won't disrespect JMU, but Ben DiNucci's not ready. He ain't close to being ready.
I know he's not ready, but like I said, they did him a disservice, though, with the game plan that they had.
But did you see when Ben DiNucci tried that damn sidearm pass on the side? Like, come on, Ben. Like, what's going on with that? But you know what? I ain't mad at him. They ain't had no business throwing him out there. That's on the coaches.
William said that's why I say fire the coaching staff. This year, in some regards, it seems like it's crawled by. In other regards, it seems like it's flown by. Because we got 4 more games left, and then we're in football winter for us, man.
We're going to figure out how to fix them. We're going to
have to. All right, everybody. It has been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave in the comments if this is a winner chicken dinner or if this is like, man, just throw this shit back, okay? I want to thank my man, Skywalker Steele. Definitely check him out on Twitter. Check him out on his YouTube channel. Give him some love and everything else because he, definitely – he works magic when it comes to all the studio stuff and everything else, doing the highlights and things like that. And he is going to be one of the greats that are going to be out here. So,
man, big time words, brother. Big time words.
I'm just holding the space for guys like you that are coming up the rear here. I'm going to be kicked to the side, with all the other old people and everything else. But, like I said, I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I can. But, you guys are coming up in there, man. You guys are doing the work and everything else. And I got to say, I'm proud of y'all. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and, let's do this real quick because I haven't done this tonight. In honor of Carson Wentz here, let's do his little promotion here. Carson Wentz, we miss you, brother.
For those of you who want to come down in person, we'll be serving hot coffee and delicious Carson Wentz apple turnovers.
We promise not to run out because he's made a lot of turnovers.
He's like a turnover factory, that guy.
Factory. I love that guy. All right, y'all. We are going to see you guys soon. Grab your shot glasses so that way.
Hey, this ain't water.
I kind of stopped drinking here for a while since I lost my brother and stuff because I'm afraid if I start, I might not stop. So grab your shot glasses, y'all. Oh, looks like I've kind of lost the feed there. Hold up. Okay, so I guess we're not going to have our shot glasses. We're just going to have to turn out the lights then.
Turn out the lights.
Okay, guys, forgive me. I'm having a rough time here tonight. On my system, I changed some stuff up, and it ain't working. So, does that mean we got to stay here? There it is.
The party's over.
Philly 500 popped up.
They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing.